Hi, my name is Mike Healy, and I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this audio. First and foremost, I want to congratulate you for having the guts to go forward with your future. And, I say that with, sincerity because it is pathetic to see how many people out there in the, corporate world or in just regular life that are not willing to take chances. Success has never been about the person who sits back and hopes it happens. It's about the person who took on the challenges of life and went and made it happen. Now, I try to, and I sorry to come straight out there and be so bold right out of the gates, but let's get into this thing. I really am thankful that you're taking the time to listen to this. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you is, I pretty much, come in my background, just in case you don't know who I am or where I've come from. I was pretty much a broke alcoholic bartender many years ago, no direction in life whatsoever. And then I kind of switched over into being a personal trainer, kind of get out of the lifestyle I was in with the other one. Got married, was looking to start a family. Actually had a couple kids at that point when I was personal training, and really didn't know what I was going to do. I just, was scared a little bit, to say the least. Raising some kids, and I was, didn't know where I was going to have all this money. Where money was going to come from. And what was really unique about the position I had with the personal trainer, or as a personal trainer, was the fact that while I was sitting there training people, a lot of the people at the country club that I trained at were multimillionaires. And what was really unique is listening to their stories of where they came pretty much from rags to riches in it. And no matter what I did every day when I was going in there, even though sometimes I didn't want to be there, I took that opportunity to listen to their stories and kind of quiz them. And at some point, I really just was shocked that they were even paying me to come in and do what I was doing, because I was learning so much. And just what really happened was hope rose up in me. And that's probably what, the first time you took a look at this business, hope rose up. That's what really probably got you to write the check, make the commitment, put it on your credit card, whatever you had to do to get in. And that's really what it takes. Is you have to have hope to begin with, which will move you down the road of your journey. Now, once going back to myself, once I really started to understand what I had my hands on, with an opportunity of networking, which once it came into my life, I was very intrigued at it. I understood the concept to a degree, but I really became a student of the game. I started to learn, started to listen, started to watch some of the successful people. And I'm telling you, I met people over the few years that I was in that just were remarkable. They were individuals that were just normal people. They were school teachers, they were housewives, they were moms, they were hairdressers, they were teachers, they were coaches, they were real estate agents, they were lawyers, whatever it might be. From every walk of life, there were people that just they wanted something different. They wanted to capture freedom. They wanted to go out there and be a better person, to change their lives and do those things. And I was just intrigued by it. Now I know I'm getting kind of hyper here on this, but I get excited when I really think back about it. Now, what had happened is, after I learned some of the skills that it took to get my business going and really applied them, I pretty much have killed this thing, to say the least. I don't know how else to put it. I just once you have your why established, that you want something bad enough, you will go after it and you'll do whatever it takes. And that's what it came down for me. Is once I found it and I had the opportunity, the vehicle that I knew could help me achieve my dreams, I aggressively went after it. So what I'm going to do is, in this, it's not a long CD, but I think what you're going to get out of this CD is a track to run on. Now, this is exactly what I've used to recruit, basically to engage or, introduce people to my opportunity and, the business, and really get them engaged quickly. And I think you're going to like the fact that I keep it so simple. I mean, really nothing that I say here is anything monumental, but I will tell you it's effective. Okay, I mean, myself and some of the friends I'm associated with that are in the business. We have incomes coming in now that would scare most CEOs of companies and things like that. And it's fun to do that, because we all we can relate to where a lot of people are that are listening to this. I mean, if I can relate to you, if you've if you're not making ends meet right now, but really have the desire to do that. I mean, not to sidetrack too bad on you, but my wife and I, we were at a point in our lives one time, we were so broke that we had to cancel our $13 a month trash pickup service just to save money. Okay, I've had eviction notices to be kicked out of an apartment that only costs $400 a month to be in. So I know where you're coming from, but I will tell you this: be encouraged, be of good cheer. That there's other people that have overcome those situations, and you can too. So my purpose of this CD and this intro is really to get you excited at the possibilities of what we have here, that you can win. You can win big, by the way. And I'm going to teach you the practical skills that you can apply immediately. Give you some principles, some tips on success, and most importantly, how to get your business engaged. And the neat part is that as you learn these, you'll learn this. You'll be able to apply it immediately, and you're going to start seeing results immediately. And I also guarantee you that once you understand the simplicity of what we're doing here, you'll pass this content on to other people. So listen up. Let me jump right into it, and I'll see you at the top. Now, here's what the first point I want to come across to you is: success is not an accident, okay? You're not going to be surprised when you're successful in this. Like, a lot of people go, man, they come up to me, they say, man, are you just shocked at how successful you are at this thing? And I'm like, no. It's supposed to happen that way. When you do the work, you should get paid. You should reap the rewards, and that's what I'm talking about doing. See, if you wake up surprised one day, it's probably because you won the lottery, not because you built a business. And here's the thing, with the training that I'm going to give you, it's going to give you the confidence not only in the company, you're going to have confidence in the product, but when you have confidence in this thing, it's going to create action. And when you create action, that's what's going to create checks. Also, you must understand that this is an earn while you learn business, and you will get better and better as you go, okay? Understand this, that you really only do a few simple things in this business. If you do the same thing over and over again, obviously you're going to get much better at it. That's what I want you to really understand. Maybe at first you're going to struggle, but I'm telling you, it's just like dribbling a basketball. You dribble the ball, maybe you'll bounce it off your feet a couple times, but pretty soon you'll be dribbling it between your legs and behind your back and the whole 9 yards. Another thing I want to touch on, okay, is don't confuse activity with productivity. I'm going to give you bullet points on what you really want to use and what you really want to do. Now, one of the things that you have to understand is that in this business, there's nothing more important than momentum, okay? And I'm going to teach you how to get that momentum in a short period of time. So let's go. First, you should know your why, okay? This is critical. If you don't know why you're doing this business, you are not going to really do what it takes to continue to build. I'm just telling you, that's the way it is, okay? If I came up to you and I said, hey, what's your goal in this thing? And you came up and said, oh, I want to make a lot of money. What is that? What's a lot of money? Okay, or you say, I want more money. Well, I could hand you a nickel, and guess what? That would be more money. You have to be specific, because if you're specific, and it may not even be money, but you're gonna have to probably break it down into a monetary amount. But let's say you needed to, you wanted to quit your job. You wanted to stay home with the kids, perhaps, whether you're a guy or a girl. You want to stay home with your family. Put a monetary amount to that. If it takes $2,000 a month for you to replace your income, then that's what you're going to have to focus on. That would be your monetary amount. Now, once you have your dollar amount, the thing is, it actually gets easier from here, because now that's going to give you a concrete track to run on. That's going to give you exactly what you need to get that desire going, to get you to move forward. So let me give you an example of what I did, okay? First off, my original objective when I saw this was, I kind of dabbled at it and wanted to make sure it was real, and I was looking to try to make about $500 a month with this thing. Once you have given this a dollar amount, that's where you can take it to the next level. So here's my example. I was looking to make about $500 extra a month while I was personal training. I thought, hey, that's a great way that I can get my wife home from, doing what she's doing, and we would, be a little happier and pay for her car payments and such and such. So what I looked at is I said, well, to make $500 a month, I'm going to have about $10,000 in volume at 5%. All right. Now, if I needed $10,000 in volume, that means if everybody was maybe on one case only, I was going to need about 100 people in my organization or on my team. Well, then I broke it down as to how many people I was going to need to talk to, to get those people in, and obviously how many people they were going to talk to. And that's kind of what I did to kind of get my concrete plan in place, okay? And once you kind of have a general idea of where you're supposed to go, it makes it a lot more doable. Your vision actually will get stronger, because you really can truly believe that there is an end. There is a reward for your efforts. So now let me give you some examples of what you need to do, okay? Once you've got your goal written down, you kind of see where you need to be and how much volume and so on, all right? Now, the thing that you're going to need to do is, how many people is that going to take? So let's go back to where I was with 100 people. If I needed 100 people in my organization, obviously I'm not going to go out and get those, even though I would have gotten all 100 of them if I had to. But I was just looking to get a handful of people in, and then hopefully those people then were going to do the same. That's the whole power of our business, is to get the duplication going. And this part that I'm going to cover right here, I think is going to really excite you, because I'm going to show you how to get that duplication going. All right. Now here's the thing. Obviously, you're going to need to talk to people. And this is typically one of the hardest things for people to overcome, as they get a little scared when it's action time. It's time for the rubber to meet the road. But I'm going to give you some tips that'll make this very, very easy on you. All right? Here's what I would tell you. Remember this and never forget it. You should only be the messenger and never the message. All right? That's one point. And the thing that I want you to only focus on is just setting an appointment. This is very important. If you learn to just set an appointment, okay, and let me explain this. This is going to take just a couple minutes to explain this to you. But you really can get rid of all rejection. You can overcome all objections, and the sky's the limit if you really understand this. What I did when I really took off with this thing, when I built this thing, was I understood that I couldn't control how many people actually got in, but I could control how many people I got the message in front of. So here's how I did it. My only objective was to just set an appointment. Now what I mean by that is I was not trying to go out and contact somebody and then give them a big story about the product, about the company, about the sales, about how this thing works, about the compensation, and all these things that truly scare people, okay? My objective was just to let some of my tools do the work. And what I mean by tools is there was some tremendous CDs out there. There still are some great CDs. There's some great brochures. There's some great videos. And most importantly, there's great upline, people that have a vested interest in my success, that I can get the same message in front of them. All right? Now here's what I understood. That if I talk to, let's say, 5 to 10 people a week, okay, and my only objective was to just set 5 to 10 presentations. And all my presentations consisted of was either, can I send you an email? Or if they were somebody local, I would say, hey, can we go have lunch? I got a guy that I want to introduce you to, and guess what I would do? All I would do is I would just set my appointment. I would set the appointment with my friend Bob. I say, listen, Bob, this is Mike. I came across something. I want your opinion on it. I'm very intrigued by what this friend of mine brought to me, and I want you to listen to it. And all I would do is just set an appointment for lunch. And here's the thing. You're going to have a lot of success because if you understand the formula, the system, whatever you want to call it, of just getting the message in front of people quickly, just getting it quickly and not thinking about, well, if this guy or this girl or they would be interested or they wouldn't be, and I never prejudged anybody. I just tried to set appointments as quickly as I could. If they weren't interested, I moved on. No objections, no coercion. Thanks, let me go. I was trying to get out of there faster than they were. Okay, I was just moving through the numbers. But here's the thing. Once you understand the formula, you can dictate how much money you want to earn with that. And that's what I understood. Once I grasped this, and once you understand this principle, the sky is the absolute limit for you. Now let's say, going back to you got those 8 people in, all right? A lot of times I will see people, now that they've sponsored people, that's what it's called, sponsoring somebody or recruiting them, and they got them involved. The problem is their business right there usually will stall because you got a brand new person that now goes into management mode or training mode. All right? Now I understand this. You do want to support your team. You want to support those new people. But why not let somebody that's experienced train them for you? Let this CD train them for you so you can continue to go out and personally recruit. That's what I did. I was just teaching people simple things. I was passing this information on to my team. That's why they duplicated so quickly. Now the cool part is that, and let's go back to those same 8 people, is if you're giving them a CD to get them trained, which we're doing right now, this is me talking to people that probably just handed this to them, is that it empowers them, it empowers you to go out, recruit your new people. And once you get them in, you don't have to waste any time training them because I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to be able to teach them the things that work. I'm going to be able to do that for you, allowing you to become more and more efficient at what really makes you money, and that is recruiting. That is setting appointments. That is getting your message in front of people. I see so many people that once they get a little success, they go into management mode. And I said that a second ago, but I need to emphasize that. So picture this, okay? Here's a tool that you can hand to people, get in front of them once they're in, and it's going to do the training for you. If you're 8 people, listen to this CD. They go out and do exactly what you just did, all right? And they implement the concept of just using the simple formula of setting appointments, just trying to get the message in front of a handful of people on a monthly basis, all right? And they had the exact same 20% only success rate that you did. Let's say it's just real small, 20% success, and I don't think that's very hard to do with what we offer. But believe it or not, if you had 8 people do that, 8 people each getting 8, that would be 64 new people that came into your business in just the second month. You see, I'm telling you, this is exactly the strategy that I am implemented to quickly get people not only to try the product, but to understand the simplicity of this business and the massive potential of this system. I mean, if you think about it, okay, picture even the next month. I mean, if you want to keep drawing it out as to what people can do with this, it's very simple, all right? You set appointments. You get the tools to do the work for you. Pick a tool. There's some great CDs out there, great CDs. Get that into those people's hands. Then once you get those people involved, give them this CD. It'll make them understand the simplicity of it. I mean, obviously by the time you're done listening, you're going to go, yeah, I promise you will go, if Mike can do it, I guarantee you I can do this, okay? That's kind of my objective here. But the amazing part is once you get the ball rolling, I mean, you start to see the incredible power of leverage at work. I mean, there's nothing more powerful than to watch your group grow at an exponential rate. And the best part is as you continue to do the same thing again and again, guess what? You're getting better. Your team is getting better. More and more leaders are starting to step up because they see the simplicity of this system and how turnkey it is, and that information starts to disseminate or be passed through your group, and you're going to see quickly that they're going to grow exponentially. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say this, but you have to understand that simplicity is the key. Too many people think that if it's complicated, then it must be better. I mean, nothing could be farther from the truth. You see, every day when you talk to people, when you're out there setting your appointments, I mean, it's a very busy, fast-paced world. I mean, people must have simplicity. And people are only going to join you if they believe that they can do what you just did. Do not forget that. You know, I don't know if I should apologize for being so excited about doing this thing, but I just get excited when I see the potential for you. I mean, you have to understand that this is life-changing information, and I know it sounds so simple, but that's what I did. This is exactly the system that I used to build a big business, okay? And I passed this information on to the next person. And the cool part is with a CD like this, I can be somewhere else and the person is getting trained properly. They're understanding the simplicity of it. They're keeping it simple. They're keeping it duplicatable. Because personalities aren't duplicatable, but systems are. And that's something you need to remember. I mean, some people are great speakers. Some people are not. Some people can stand in front of a room. Some people just about pass out when they stand in front of a room. But that's what a CD like this will help you, and it will empower you to build your business quick. So think about that. You know, you get some people in. You've seen this system, you've seen how it works, you've seen the simplicity of it, and now you're moving on. You're growing and growing and growing. And I'm telling you, as you progressively go, this thing gets bigger and better and better. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to comment on a few more things that I really believe are going to help you. I'm going to kind of take a little focus in a different direction for you, because these are very important things that I learned, and I think they're going to help you in a big way. One big tip: focus only on what you can control and not what you can't control, okay? I mentioned this earlier, but I want to re-emphasize it. You cannot control who gets in. The only thing you have control over is how many people you put this story in front of. How many people can you get the message in front of? Understand again, facts tell, stories sell. Telling the story is the key. You got to learn to tell the story. Or better yet, which I've emphasized plenty of times now, is that you want the tools to tell the story for you. There's a lot of great ones out there. Stay consistent is the next one. You shouldn't jump from system to system. I mean, everybody's going to bring a different thing to the table. Everybody's going to have a different way. But I'm telling you, I've got a very proven track record here. I've got a good income with this thing. I've got great success and great people. Do not be disillusioned that just because something looks fancy that it's going to work better for you, okay? You may run into times where you get frustrated. Your group might be still growing at the same time, but you still can get frustrated. Let me give you a quick story that's something that happened to me, and this was something that I really took to heart, and I'm going to pass it on. When I was getting going one time in one of my networking businesses, and I kind of, was getting started, I started getting frustrated because I really didn't have any direction. I didn't have a concrete plan and, of action. I really didn't know what I was doing. It was just, I was surprised I had any success at all. And I remember complaining to a guy that was a top money earner in this company, and he basically looked me in the face and he said, "Listen, Mike, you got any kids?" And at the time, I actually had, I think, 2 kids. And I said, "Yeah." And sure enough, he said, "Here's what I want you to do when you get home, because I'm sure it's frustrating to you. And when you get home, I want you to go upstairs when your kids are in bed, and when you're tucking them in, I want you to look them right in the face and say, you know what? Your daddy's a quitter, and you're not worth me going the distance for." And he said that obviously with a grain of salt, but it really put it in perspective, okay? Anything good in life is going to take a lot of hard work. There is no free ride. There is a world of people out there that are looking for the free ride that does not exist. People play the lottery. I mean, geez, don't get me started on the lottery, but it's like for $1 you keep your hope alive, okay? They're looking to not have to run every day to make ends meet and to struggle. But I'm telling you, there's a business out here. This business can help you achieve that dream of creating a residual income that'll allow you the freedom to do what you want and not have to run and run and run every single day to make ends meet. And also you have to understand that you're going to have to fight for your freedom. I mean, freedom's not free. A lot of people, take it for granted. And this business is what you're really trying to achieve. Is you're trying to achieve financial freedom. Okay, and that's a lot of times that's been thrown around so much as a cliche lately. It makes me want to throw up sometimes. But financial freedom still does exist in this country, and in most parts of the world, it is still available. But a lot of people give up too easy. And one of the biggest things, and I might step on some toes here, but one of the things that I see a lot of times, and you'll be able to finish this sentence for me, is you'll see people that are very successful. And a lot of times you'll look at them and you'll hear people start talking about them. And guess what they're going to say? Well, that person, they just got lucky, or that's not fair. Okay, you're going to finish it for me. Okay, that's not fair. Understand this. Anybody that you see that's very successful, especially in this business and network marketing, they didn't get there by accident, okay? You don't know the full story, and the worst thing that you could possibly do to jeopardize your attitude and your life in general is to envy that person. Envy and jealousy will kill you, okay? You have to understand that this opportunity is there for anyone that will do the work. And one of the things that you can guarantee your success and be one of those people is to be consistent, all right? This was another tip, and let me give you the story on my, being consistent story. Is I was invited with a lot of the other top leaders to go to a leadership retreat in our company where there was a few hundred of us. And I took the time, instead of being around there and just kind of getting, pat on the back all the time and everybody look at me and we're all, and it's fun to do that in a room, obviously, who are we kidding? But what I did is I took the time to walk around to all of these people that I admired in this business. And I went up and I asked them one question. I said, what would you attribute or say that your number one reason for your success is? And that's all I said. And I said, I want the first thing that comes to your mind. And I went and polled probably 20 or 30 of these, I'm talking big money earners. I'm talking scary big money earners. And without doubt, in just one phrase or another, every one of them came back with the same thing. And guess what it was? They said it was consistency. They were consistent in doing the things that mattered on a consistent basis, setting those appointments, swinging the bat again and again. In fact, our number one money earner mentioned that, he says, I swing the bat and I know eventually I will get a hit. And sometimes I may even hit it over to the park. And I thought that was a fantastic quote. I wrote that down and I've used it ever since. Another thing after kind of being, with the consistency is understand that you're going to eventually have to grow into a leader. This is a learning process. This is something that's going to continue to help you move forward. You're going to develop as a person, and you're going to become more powerful as a person than you'll ever dream, you probably ever have dreamt of. You see, once you become a leader and you start to learn these things, and you start to learn how to talk to people, and your confidence grows, every area of your life begins to get better. I mean, I'm telling you, it is the absolute truth. Your confidence, the way you walk, the way you think, the books you read, the people you hang out with, it starts to really empower you to be a better person, to be more in tune with life. I mean, just to go out there and make a difference. And one of the things that I want you to understand, though, okay, and this is a leader tip for you. Understand that as a leader, the only real thing that you owe your people, the people you put in, or the people in your organization, is you owe them an example of success. They must still do the work themselves, but really you can't do it for them. As much as we would like to, as much as I want to see people succeed, sometimes you'll give them people and you'll do things like that, but I'm telling you, the true leaders are people that actually step out of the boat, the people that go forward and move forward on their own merits, and they're the ones that pay the price. And those people, once they start to get that success, they appreciate it more than you'll ever know. In fact, it'll change their entire outlook on life when they really start to see the success, or when you see that success yourself. Everything in your life changes, and your family life, everything. It's just incredible, because as you develop into this leader, okay, because you're going to go. I mean, obviously we started at the beginning of the CD, teaching you kind of how to get started, and this is kind of cliff notes on all this, but I'm telling you, it's effective stuff. It's just many bullet points that are going to make you effective in life, and it's going to make you effective in this business. Now, here's also something I want to touch on, okay? What I like to do is I like to work in bursts, okay? And what I mean by that is I really, a lot of times, I get people that joke with me all the time about, having ADHD and stuff like that, but, I'm probably sure some of it's true. But I like to work in bursts. I mean, I just work kind of good when I put a goal down and I say, you know what, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get 5 people in this week or something like that, and I go out it, and then I'll take the whole next week off or something like that. But I am consistent at those bursts. You might want to break down your goals in maybe 30, 60, 90-day goals, because as you work in bursts, okay, and as you do it in little tiny bite-sized pieces, it allows you to really see your progress, and you can look at where you are now compared to where you were when you got started, okay? And that's real exciting. Like, I remember when I first got started, okay, I had a couple people in, and I was like, well, I'm sure that if I get it to this point, then these people are going to start to take off. And then 60 days later, I looked back at what I'd written down, and sure enough, I'd not only achieved that, but I exceeded those expectations, because I was consistent, and I was working, with my teams, and I was working with my upline, and they were helping me tremendously. And as my upline, I was listening to them, I was becoming more efficient. And then I was able to work with my people on the same plane. And now we were all leveraging our time together. We were all working together. And that's really what created a lot of that momentum. You get that team synergy going, and it just really starts to explode, and you can't contain it. I mean, there's nothing more important than that. Something else I want to talk about that I think is extremely important, just for you to really understand about this industry. And actually, there's a book written about it called The Tipping Point, okay? This is something that if you understand this, there's power in it. The Tipping Point book, it's all based on the law of numbers and what happens when a certain amount of people get involved in something, how it just all of a sudden just becomes the norm. It just explodes, on a worldwide or national basis, and that's in every aspect. If you looked at it as maybe like a disease or something like that, but in a good and positive way. Here's what I've seen, okay, numbers wise, and this is not written in stone, and this is, you can almost look at this as a hypothetical, but if you can get probably around 150 to 200 people in your organization, and preferably in a short amount of time, or a reasonable amount of time, okay, I'm talking like not all today or the weekend or whatever, but in a couple months period or whatever, and if you can see what we just talked about earlier, it's really not that hard to do if you just do the simple steps. But if you get a couple hundred people in, what's going to happen is you're going to start to have more leaders evolve or show themselves, and that's where your business is really going to take off. You are always going to get some people in that just want to try the product. You're going to always get people in that try the product and then get off of it. But over a period of time, as you continually get those numbers up, you're going to start to get more what I call business builders, people that are really truly focused and see it like you do, or hopefully they're going to see it even bigger than you, and that's going to really get exciting. But when you start to tap into those numbers, there's a thing out there called the Peretti Principle, the 80-20 rule, where 20% of the people do 80% of the work. And that's so true in this business. That is so true in this business. But the thing is you got to continue to push and push and push and push until you get that tipping point, till it tips, okay? In fact, picture some scales. Do you remember where you would have a bag of gold on one side, and then they would continue to put coins on the other side until it tipped, and that's how they knew it was going. It could be as small as a grain of sand could make it level to the point that it would tip, and you drop that one more grain of sand, that one more extra effort, and boom, that's when it pops, and now you've got the momentum. Your business took off. It's the same thing with this. This is so important that I saw, and I understood this when I was going into this, and that's why I continued to stay consistent, is I kept setting those appointments, and I kept getting that story out, and I kept having my upline help me and using the tools. But once I got those people in and I got my numbers up to right around 150 or so people, I now had some key people that saw it like I did. There might have been maybe only 10 or 20 of them at the time, but those 10 or 20 went out and started doing it like I did. And it took less than half the time to go from 200 reps to 500 reps than it did to go from 0 to 100. Okay, think about that. I mean, it just bang, it exploded. And guess what? It took a shorter amount of time to go from 500 reps to 1,000 reps in my group than it did to go from 1 to 500, because the law of numbers starts to take over. And that's the power of it. Okay, you see, a lot of times, and hopefully I'm not rambling here, but you've got to understand these points because they're going to help you in the long run, is if you understand that in the beginning, you're doing most of the work, okay? And this is where a lot of times people fail, okay? Let's not beat around the bush. There's people that, if everybody succeeded at everything, there wouldn't be anything left to do. But the reason a lot of people don't see it is they don't see this point. They don't understand this tipping point that they have to push to, okay? You have to push to this tipping point, and you'll know when it happens. I've got a good friend of mine, a new personal, Corey, that I told him about this from day one. I said, Corey, we've got to push. We've got to push. We've got to push to get to this tipping point. And we kept pushing, and a couple times he'd call me frustrated. And sure enough, over a period of time, all of a sudden it started to pop. And boom, his numbers call. And guess what now? I get all the phone calls every other day about how his group's just starting to grow, how now it's getting all exciting. I'm telling you, it's not exciting in the beginning, but this is where it happens. This is the tipping point. It's so critical. Critical. I mean, I'm talking it is critical to get to this tipping point. But once you have the tipping point, once you get the tipping point, your life changes. That's where actually you'll see a lot of times it's like an escalator. Once you got on, it continues to go up. And you'll actually start making more money, and you'll have more people coming into your business than you've ever known and you've ever seen. You don't even have a clue where they're coming from. And that's where it really gets fun. The problem is a lot of people will quit right before that tipping point. I'm telling you, they are like two people away a lot of times from that one person, that maybe that one more person that would have tipped it over the edge, that's the one person that they put in, and maybe they placed them under somebody, or that they helped that person in their group get somebody in that, bang, that's the guy that helped get everybody excited and took off. You have to stick it out to that point. And it's I'm telling you, it's a fight to that point, but when you get it over that, man, it is such a reward. You will not regret the work. Once it's done, as good as you think it is, it's better. As good as you think success is when you get there, it is better. So here's the thing. I kind of want to wind this down. I know we're about 40 minutes into this, and I want to really kind of just share my heart with you. And this is important because, a lot of times you get CDs and everything like that, and everybody tries to be all business professional, and that's not what the real world's about. The real world's about, getting dirty, getting your knees scuffed, having a little bloody nose, things like that, and moving forward, okay? And that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Here's what I'm going to tell you. This is where my heart is. I believe that you should believe in the power of prayer. I do give credit where credit's due, and I'm telling you, there were times that, that I got frustrated, and I thought, man, is it really worth it? Should I quit? And I took those times to, and I got down and I prayed and I said, hey, I need some help here. And when I humbled myself like that, it was amazing how quickly the enthusiasm rose up in me, how quickly my attitude changed, and how quickly I was able to move forward. And it wasn't that I had really even changed anything different. It was just, I just knew it, okay? And you know what I'm talking about, is I just knew that God was helping me in this situation, and I moved forward. I expect you to succeed. You should have an expectancy that your people are going to succeed. This is not rocket science, okay? It does pay like a high-end rocket scientist would probably get paid, but this is not rocket science. This is just sharing a great story. This is just sharing a great opportunity with a lot of people, okay? And it's going to change lives. I mean, you don't really understand the impact that you're going to have on families. You see, I see a lot of people too that, they get in the game, they signed an app and they think they're in the game, but they're not playing to win. And that's probably one of the most important things, is once I made the committed decision that I was going to do something with this, that I was going to change my family's life and our family's outcome, that I played to win. I didn't play to lose. There was no way of retreat. I mean, it was all or nothing. And that's the kind of effort that changes lives. That's the kind of effort that you have to push forward. There's not one person that's ever going to listen to my voice on this call that hasn't been gifted with the same inner abilities, the same desire, the same drive. Everybody's been given that same desire. The thing is, some people have suppressed it so bad they don't know how to get it out. And that is a total shame. Hopefully, no matter what, even if you don't pursue this business in a big way, I've at least rattled your cage enough to where you're going to go out and make a difference in your life. I'm going to tell you this too. You're going to have people that are going to rain on your parade, to say the least. Okay? And sometimes it feels like, I remember when I was in school and people picked on me and things like that, and I couldn't figure out why. I mean, it doesn't make any logical sense. Now I kind of understand that it's insecurities that people have of their failures and their shortcomings, that they want to take it out on somebody, anybody, okay? And you just gotta pray for them, and you gotta feel bad for them. I want you to go out and apply what you've learned on this CD. I want you to go out and prove people wrong. I want you to create a CD like this someday and say, this is my story. This is what I did. This is why I'm now successful. And share that with people, okay? Your objective after you achieve the success that you're going to have, because I've given you the tools and I've given you the information, is you're going to go out and change people's lives. And that's what's really going to duplicate. Yes, we have a great business here, but when you change people's lives in all areas, that's what's truly going to make the difference. That's where your true satisfaction is going to come from. I'm going to kind of close this out now. Maybe you heard this during drive time. Maybe you popped this in while you're in your car. And hopefully I've encouraged you in a lot of ways here. Understand that this is a simple business. You have to keep it simple. Fight to keep it simple, okay? You just set appointments. Just get the message in front of people. You'll get people that see it like you do. You'll get people that won't see it. You'll get people that have a clue, and you'll get people that don't have a clue, okay? Deal with it. That's just human nature, and that's how people are. But be encouraged that you can do this. And some of you out there that are listening to this, you know what? Hey, maybe you don't like the way I talk. Maybe you don't like this CD. That's fine, all right? I'm just sharing my heart because that's who I am, and I'm not afraid to do so. Some people out there, they won't share their emotions. They're just going to be closed their whole lives, and nobody's going to really know who they are, and they're never going to really make an impact. Don't do that to people. Share your heart with people. Cry on them. Let them know who you are. Let them know you're a real person, and that's what's going to get people to want to be around you. That's what's going to get people to want to join your business. That's what's going to get people to want to follow you as a leader. Because it's the leader that's going to take the hits. It's the leader that's going to go take the territory first, okay? You're going to be the pioneer. Guess what? Pioneers take the most arrows. So in closing with this thing, once again, I want to thank you for your time. And I expect this. The next time you see me after you've implemented these things, that you're going to come up and we're going to high five. In fact, better yet, when you when you get the success that I know you're going to get, I want you to walk off stage. I want you to look over at me because I'll be there rooting for you. I want you to come off and I want you to high five me. We're going to get pictures taken together. And when you walk off that stage knowing that you just achieved your dreams and you're getting the recognition that you deserve for doing that, I want to know that I was able to help you in some way, and it's going to be an amazing journey. Again, I thank you for taking the time to listen to this. I'm telling you, get this information into your people's hands. It's going to change their lives, and I appreciate your time. Thanks.